Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. Today we are talking about songwriting, and we're going to get into some creative stuff and some tools of the craft that I think will really make a difference in your writing. When I'm thinking about music in general, and when I'm thinking about songwriting specifically, I really like to frame it in terms of the 5 elements of music: sound, harmony, melody, rhythm, form. Inside of each one of these are a lot of tools to be able to get us unstuck and start being creative, like whenever we want to, not just waiting for the muse to strike, but actually have our hands on the levers of the craft. We're going to be talking about the chords that exist in a major key. Whatever level you are at as a songwriter, if this is something you're not quite sure about, you're fuzzy on, this is going to help. When you start writing a song and go, many songs have been written on that chord progression, that's why I used it. But it's a C, it's a G, an A minor, and I played an F. What's the relationship of those chords? They all exist inside the key of C, and that is a lot of the reason why they seem to go together well. When I say key, I could also use the word scale pretty much interchangeably. Okay, right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we come back to 1. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? And so it's 7 notes. The short story on this is we can build triads and any other kind of chord off of each note in that scale. This is the key of C. It has no sharps and flats, so all the notes we use, including all the chords we use, will only have notes from the key of C. So let's look at the chords in C. So we have C, then we have a D minor, then we have an E minor, we have an F, we have a G, an A minor, and then a B diminished, and then back to C. So you notice there's a pattern here. It goes major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. So it doesn't matter what key we're in. It could be G, B flat, A flat, F sharp. If you stay in the key and you stick to this pattern, you're going to get major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished every time. You'll notice here that we're using Roman numerals, and this is just a way to communicate what the function of these chords are, no matter what key they're in. Just to make the point, let's try the key of G, okay? We have a G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, G. If we've come up with our chord progression and we're going, man, I love that. I could write a great verse on that. Well, I want to write a pre-chorus. I want to go somewhere different. Where can I go? I could go to the F, no problem. But what about if I chose one of the other chords in that key? What about if I chose the A minor? Here's our groove. Okay, so I went A minor, E minor, and then I did like an F major 9, which was a little bit of a cheat. But the point was, I went to other chords in the scale, and suddenly I'm into new territory. It's going to get you unstuck and get your songs into other areas you might not have thought about before. Now, one of the reasons that we want to think in Roman numerals is because it gives us a sound just based on that number that we don't even have to worry about thinking inside of the key. It helps musicians communicate. For instance, you could say, let's play a 1, 6, 2, 5 progression in G. The 1 is a G major, the 6 is an E minor, the 2 is an A minor, and the 5 is a D, right? sound familiar? A few songs have been written with that. Let's say I want to do this in the key of B flat. 1, 6, 2, 5. So the 1 is the B flat, the 6 is the G minor, the 2 is the C minor, the 5 is F. So now we have the same thing in another key. That can be useful in a practical sense. You're trying to find the right key for your voice. Again, good for communication and good for understanding how these chords work. What's the sound of them? Where do they tend to want to resolve to and go, and things like that. So a 7th chord is just taking that triad and adding one more third on top of it. So for instance, that C triad was C, E, G. A third above G is B. C major 7. So we can do 7th chords, again, all along our 7-note scale. So we'd have C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, then we have G7 or G dominant 7, another way to say that. It's the open chord version of that. A minor 7, and then B minor 7 flat 5. That can add a lot of color to your songwriting. You can mix and match 7th chords, triads, however you like. So I recommend just experimenting with this. If you can even take it and do it by the numbers and go, okay, I'm going to try a 4, 1, 6, 5. See what that sounds like. Here's another little caution. Don't always make it 4 chords, and also don't always make it an even number of beats and length of how you're holding the chord. It's really easy in songwriting to fall into the one measure of a chord, measure of the next chord, measure of the next chord, and measure of the next chord, and then starting that all over. There is a songwriting book by Ricky Rooksby, and I believe he's the one that refers to this as the tyranny of 4. Everything's in 4/4, everything's divisible by 2s or 4s. So even if you cut that in half and go, get a little predictable. So try, use 5 chords, use 6 chords, make it a 5-bar phrase, a 6-bar phrase. So I highly encourage you to get creative with this, experiment, be a mad scientist with it, see where you can take your songwriting, see what kind of cool and fun and interesting chord progressions you can come up with. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will take these tools and take your songwriting to the next level. I hope you'll be creative, I'm sure you will, and let me know how it's going. Please like and subscribe. You can check out my latest instrumental album on my website, and it's available on all platforms. It's called In-Defense-of-Daydreaming. I also have 3 singer-songwriter albums out that use all these tools that I'm talking about, and you might want to check those out and check out my chord progressions as well. Stay creative, have fun, and we will see you next video.